Cast Iron Balls, a podcast about sports. My name is Bob, sitting across the way from my good friend and co-host. That's Abe. How you doing tonight, Abe?
Doing well, Bob.
Yeah, here we are. Lori's here too. How you doing tonight, Lori?
I'm good.
Lori's good. Tonight is Monday, November 17th, 2025. A wonderful weekend of sports action, specifically on the college football side. But first, Abe, it is imperative that we live bet the games. You're making me all sorts of money here the last couple times out.
What sorts?
$4 most recently.
That sort.
4 sorts of dollars of money. That was the Hawks. Tonight, though, we've got Monday Night Football, and it's not a total laugher. So we're going to pick this game. Cowboys minus 3.5 on the road at the Raiders. Raiders have been a disappointment this year. If you were a person who thought the Raiders might be good, then you would be disappointed. Cowboys, also a mess, although sort of a schizophrenic mess. Sometimes.
They had a thing before about that guy that killed himself.
Oh, yeah.
So you should be nice.
Be nice to the Cowboys. Hey, what's going to happen tonight with the Cowboys and the Raiders?
I got the Cowboys winning this. I'm just concerned about this line. 3.5.
3.5 is the number. 3 and a hook, as they say.
Too much hook. I'm going to just go money line.
Money line the Cowboys, a $5 bet. Why am I getting a 19-cent bonus bet? What did I do to deserve that?
19 cents.
Nothing.
That doesn't... I think I'm going to go ahead and let that expire. Well, it says it expires on 1/1/26. I'm going to save those 19 cents. Right. Just wager the $5 tonight. $5 to win $2.55 in return. So we'll see how that goes. Why do I have 19 cents in rewards?
Because that's literally what you get.
I made a small profit this weekend. It's been a while since I made a small profit in the gambling app. Do you know why I made a small profit?
Well, you hit a parlay?
No, I have lost all of my parlays. I can't remember the last time I won a parlay. It's been a total disaster, except for the one weekend where I hit all 5 of my CIB pick'em bets and didn't lay down any money like a fool.
Because you scheduled baseball.
Because I put $5 on Texas A&M to win at the half when they were losing 30-3.
Was this when the predictometer was like a 90-some-odd percent?
97%. Yeah. I said, you know what? And we'll get into the details of that game here shortly. I'm not sure that the first half is fully representative of what is likely to happen for the rest of this game. If I bet $5, I'm going to make like $50 in return, which seems worth it.
Right. It seemed like that quarterback for Texas A&M was throwing the game away in that first half. Just literally, there were so many opportunities for picks that the defenders were like, oh, shit. I wasn't expecting it to come right my way. So, yeah, it looked like, if they cleaned that up, they could turn things around. I didn't realize they would turn it around so quickly after the half.
But we'll get to that game here shortly. I think that we should probably start with the WGAS NewsBag Sports Edition. Time for Who Gives a Shit News. Sports big news as the first horse on that coaching. So the coaching carousel, right? When you think of it, all these coaches, they get the boot, they get kicked off the carousel, and there's another carousel. It's empty.
Is that how this works?
I don't know.
No, they've used the metaphor wrong. It's a centrifuge this year.
Yeah.
Because what a centrifuge does is spin so fast that it separates liquids and solids. So it did that, and now...
No, I like the coaching carousel because you get like the Penn State horse. It's a sparkly... It's a horse that might have certain appetites that you probably shouldn't bring up in polite company.
Or at all.
A horse, call it the old Sandusky.
You could just say it's a horse of a different color and leave it at that.
Sandusky horse needed a new rider.
Oh, God. Okay.
Still does. But James Franklin left the Sandusky horse and has mounted the Virginia Tech horse in the coaching carousel. And,
or did Virginia Tech mount the James Franklin horse?
Don't be disgusting.
I don't know which is disgusting.
He will be formally introduced at a news conference Wednesday morning. When Calvin found out that James Franklin had been hired at Virginia Tech, he said, "Oh no, does that mean Virginia's going to lose to Virginia Tech now?" Because
I don't think he asked it. I think he said, "Oh, Virginia is going to lose now."
Yeah. He was operating under the assumption that James Franklin was going to go banging down the doors at Virginia Tech like tonight or tomorrow
Effective
morning.
immediately.
Effective immediately. And the James Franklin regime is taken over, and that the Virginia Cavaliers were going to lose their rivalry game now for sure.
They might.
Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way.
No. You know, the former head coach for Virginia Tech was James Franklin's former defensive coordinator. Would it be awkward if we brought him back in that role? The guy who was just recently fired
The guy
as
who's
head
just
coach?
shit canned
Yes.
from Virginia Tech, I think the answer is yes.
Does that rule it out? No.
'Cause some people are better coordinators than they are head coaches, you know?
"I'm honored and humbled to join the Hokie family," Franklin said in a statement. "My vision is simple: to restore unmatched excellence, to build something that lasts, and to serve this university, the Commonwealth of Virginia, and our amazing fan base with honor, integrity, and passion. I look forward to getting to work with our players, our staff, and the entire Virginia Tech community." Is he moving? Isn't Pennsylvania also a Commonwealth?
Yes. Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, Virginia, Kentucky.
I wonder if he was if that was part of his
Oh, yeah?
his process.
He does better
Just a
in
big fan of the
Commonwealth.
Commonwealths.
Yeah. I mean,
That's fair.
he was the head coach for Vanderbilt in Tennessee, not a Commonwealth.
Yeah, but not yeah. But also not, like, Vanderbilt's not, it doesn't have the word Tennessee in
That's true. Yes.
name of the school.
Vanderbilt was originally Franklin was originally owed a $49 million buyout after being fired by Penn State on October 12th. But part of his deal with the Hokies, sources confirmed to ESPN, includes a $9 million settlement from the Nittany Lions. So all that Penn State it's going to have cost them is $9 million rather than the nearly $50 million.
Well, that's good for them,
Sometimes things work out.
So they haven't, I guess, released the details as far as how much he's getting paid. He's probably still making top 10 head coach money, right?
I would imagine so. Virginia Tech has announced that they're spending way more money on athletics in the next few years, like including hundreds of millions of dollars, like set aside for paying players and whatnot over the course of the next long while. So I would imagine that they're also happy to spend money on the head coach there.
Do you think Franklin just wanted a job just as quickly as possible? This was just the right fit and the timing worked out? Or why not wait for all the jobs to become available and make a decision?
Because I think this is the right sort of step back down job. Like it's Penn State, like we've said, results on the field be damned, is a top 10 kind of job, right? Like you wouldn't guess that you could get much past 10 if you're listing the potentially best jobs in college football on a year-to-year basis. Virginia Tech is not that. Virginia Tech is definitely a second tier, third tier maybe sort of job.
So do you think this is just like a image rehab stint? He's vying for some higher?
I don't know. I also think that it's a good enough job where if you have success here, like the path to the playoff isn't all of that difficult in the ACC.
You have to beat sometimes Miami, sometimes Clemson, Georgia Tech. Who's
it's very
good?
doable. Yeah.
Virginia? What, like, ew, no, it's easy. Also, maybe the fun part of what I'm assuming, if I'm being charitable to James Franklin, it's like I went to I rehabbed Vanderbilt, sort of, for a time until he left. I rehabbed Penn State. Like,
Right.
it seems like if you're saying...
Does Bill O'Brien get no credit for rehabbing Penn State, right? Because wasn't he the guy after the guy? He was the guy after...
For like a couple of years, right? Before...
I don't know. It was so
did
long
he,
ago.
he immediately followed Joe Pa, or was he the guy after the guy who followed
There
Joe
may have
Pa?
been an interim right after Joe Pa, but like the first like full-on coach, I think, was Bill O'Brien.
It's just that maybe, it would... Maybe he thinks I might not be capable of being...
I don't think he's had that thought.
Okay, but might not. but I am clearly capable of taking a program to whatever the next level is for that program. So why don't I do that with this one? And like everybody keeps saying, recruiting-wise, same pool.
Yeah, I think it's a great hire. I think like when I first heard a few weeks ago, Virginia Tech looking at James Franklin, I thought it made a lot of sense. Yeah. And most of the other jobs that have come open did not make a whole lot of sense.
I don't see him in the South.
Right. Imagine him at Florida. Not a fit. Hard to imagine him at Auburn. Hard to imagine him at Kentucky.
No, he seems like a northeastern.
Right.
All right. Also, I got a notification from ESPN last night, I think. And the notification said something like, watch close-up video of Jamar Chase spit on Steelers' Jalen Ramsey before Ramsey is ejected for punching Jamar Chase. Like, I don't think I will watch close-up video of Jamar Chase spitting on Jalen Ramsey. Thank you very much.
Mangled limbs, no problem. Just I don't like the spitting.
I don't go out of my way to look at the mangled limbs.
No.
You're the one who sends them to me.
Yes, I'm talking about me. I'm totally fine with the mangled limbs, but like this happened with the Eagles game a few weeks ago. There's a lot of spitting this year, and then when I saw this, I was like, I just don't care for that. They need to.
But I think. Just tell me that he spit on the dude, and that's enough. Like I don't need
to say I believe you.
Unless it's a particularly interesting,
like the one in Seinfeld,
right?
Like the magic loogie,
or like like when we discovered that it turns out that the eagle had spat upon the other guy, right?
Yeah.
Like this is.
No, it was Dak Prescott that first spat.
Right, yeah, the Dak Prescott Zapruder spit film that we only uncovered some days later. Like, that's interesting. But anyway, stop spitting on people, NFL players. What are we doing? Question for you, Abe. Do you still stand by your take that Victor Wembanyama is the greatest basketball player of all time, better than Michael Jordan, better than Shohei Ohtani? Curious math conversion situation there. He's going to be out for the next 2 to 3 weeks with a calf injury. This is what happens when you're fucking 7.5 feet tall and skinny and made up of weird parts that aren't fully human.
That's correct. Yeah, I mean the one drawback to my statement was that he could be sidelined by injury, and I think there's like a minimum amount of games played that you need to hit before you're eligible for Player of the Year, MVP, and those kind of things. And my argument for him being the greatest ever is that he was going to start racking up all of these awards, but kind of hard to do that on the sidelines. But yes, I remain committed to my ridiculous statement.
All right, fair enough. Just always want to give you a chance to walk back.
No walking back.
No, never. All right, let's close up the WGAS News Sports Bag because who gives a shit about all that? Instead, let's talk about the games because the games were largely awesome, and I want to begin with the game of the day from my perspective and our perspective, certainly. The Georgia Bulldogs against the Texas Longhorns. What a football game. What an atmosphere in Athens. I'm sure it was. We'll get a full report from my brother when he comes to visit for Thanksgiving in a couple of weeks.
We'll get at least some of a report.
Whatever he remembers about the evening. Anyway. But it was awfully fun watching that football game.
No, that was a lot of fun.
How did you take it in?
I was watching this with some friends at a sports bar. Entirely Georgia fan base there. There was one guy seated next to me, a portly fellow, and he was wearing this orange and white stripe looking thing. And for some reason, even though there's like context clues, Georgia's playing Texas. I was like, what are you, a Tennessee man? Like, what's going on over there? And he took great offense at this. Like, what? No, like Texas. And I was like, fucking these colors all look the same to me.
Yeah.
Very seriously,
yeah.
If you showed me in black and white, I could not tell you the Tennessee versus the Texas T.
Right.
Font-wise.
Yeah.
I have and then they're the same color. Oof.
Yeah.
Guys.
Did you give him the old horns
no.
down?
No, I'm not an obnoxious fan like that.
Why do they take? I'm sorry, but why do they take that so personally? Like,
they just do.
What the fuck is wrong with you that you can't handle one of these?
Maybe if you're like an Oklahoma fan or something. I don't know. It seems like you guys are over there. I have no problem with Texas fans.
This is, I mean, come on though. Like you cannot announce to the world that this, and to be clear, what I'm doing is I'm taking my pointer finger and my pinky finger and I'm holding them up in the Texas Longhorn fashion, and then I'm simply turning that upside down to do horns down.
Horns down, yes.
And that greatly offends them. They take it quite personally.
Because
They're little babies. Did you watch the game?
People do it to be mean, you know. It's received in the spirit that's given.
Yeah, but you can. It's like when my daughter or my son is complaining about how my daughter is being extremely annoying on purpose, and he's getting extremely annoyed. I'm like, what do you think she's after, you moron? You're giving her exactly what she wants. And if you announce to the world that this is not just like, we're ribbing you with the old horns down, but in fact it's like spitting on your grandfather's grave or what have you.
Yeah, but how do you feel when you see the people with the alligator hands?
When they do the stupid chomp, I think they're assholes and idiots.
I hate them.
But that doesn't hurt my feelings.
It hurts something in me that's not feelings. Sensibility?
Let them chomp. They
Ew,
look
it's
like
so
assholes.
gross.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, horns, nothing. Don't do the chomp thing. Even the barking at people thing is, what are we doing? Just
I don't
regular
bark
stuff.
at people.
No, not
so
you.
bizarre.
But talking about fan bases, they have different things, you know. So like I don't know what other schools do. Does Ohio State always spell out Ohio whenever they're walking? Is that a thing they do?
Yes, they walk in the shape of Ohio script. Yes.
Was it Eddie George in that in the Heisman House commercial where they get to the Michigan State line and he's like, "Nope, we're going around."
Yeah.
He refuses to even drive through the state of Michigan.
Ohio.
What?
Which?
No, because he's
the Ohio
Eddie
guy.
George is the
Okay.
Ohio guy. Yeah. Anyway, I mean, I understand because the horns up. It means a healthy bovine, apparently, right? Like my mother once saw.
Stop.
We were driving through Athens, and we had that big old
Longhorn.
the big old longhorn in Athens at the end of South Millage. There, it was grazing in the grassy fields because of the large animal hospital, right? Like the veterinarian students take care of these big animals down there, and my mother witnessed that the horns were pointed up. And she said, "Oh, I have very good energies on that. You can tell that the energies are good with that cow because of the horns going up."
Nice. I didn't know that's what it meant.
It's the energies, you see. And so I guess if the horns are down, these Texas people are like, "No, the energies are all fucked up."
That's what McConaughey says.
Yeah.
Well, the energy was all fucked up on that onside kick. What the hell was that? They did not react to it.
Let's start a little bit closer.
Start with the
I'm
beginning
refusing to
of
start.
the game.
Abe's trying to get me focused here, but we're not going to jump to the onside kick. Start of the game. What a tremendous start to a football game for Georgia. We go up 14-3. So they get the ball to start, and they go on a long drive that ends in a field goal. It's like, all right, fine, bend but don't break kind of defense. At least it's not a score. At least it's not a touchdown, right? Georgia's given up touchdowns on the opening drive seemingly nearly every other time.
Everybody.
This year and last. But then we go on a very quick 5-minute, 9-play touchdown drive and then force a 3-and-out and then go on another 5-minute, 8-play touchdown drive to go up 14-3. And it's like, man, are we going to have one of these games where we just run away with things here? And the answer was no, because we closed the half.
C.J. Allen got hurt.
Yeah, C.J. Allen gets hurt.
After everybody on Twitter and on TV and in our living room was like, wow, C.J. Allen is so awesome. It'd be a real shame if something happened to C.J. Allen, the most awesome person, and then something did.
Happens, yeah.
We were putting out the wrong energies into the world, and C.J. Allen got hurt, I guess. But anyway, the offense kind of goes to sleep there for a while in the middle of this game. After we scored that touchdown,
Punt.
possessions go punt, interception for Texas, punt, and then an end of half for Texas with the ball. And it was frustrating because we had the ball coming back to us on the other side of that on the other side of the half. And so it felt like, man, if we could get a score here at the end of the half at any point, we're getting the ball. Like we could really sort of steal a possession there. Yeah, win the middle 8 and be just fine. But all of a sudden, like we get to this third quarter, and because we haven't been able to do anything on offense for basically 2 full quarters at this point, we've allowed Texas to crawl their way back in, even though
and no C.J. Allen.
Our defense has been very, very solid, but then Grunter throws that awful pick, probably the worst pick that I can remember him throwing. I know he's thrown a few this year, but mostly they've been like tipped balls and
he
like
hasn't thrown many.
Hasn't thrown a ton. I think it was maybe number 4 or number 5. But this was just an awful pick. This was just right to the dude.
But you often see this happen both in college and the NFL, where like I guess the quarterback is so fixated on their receiver or where they expect a receiver to end up that they totally miss that another human exists, that they're right there in the way.
That was his 3rd interception.
His 3rd of the season?
Yeah.
Wow. No, he's been real good. Give them, I think, where they have that ball, like at the 45. Like they had
it was
like
their
right
best
at
field
midfield.
position of the night.
And as good as the defense has been, it's like, what do you expect eventually if you're going to give them the ball at fucking midfield? And by the way...
Wait, you mean like when the pick happened? Wasn't it like inside our own 30?
It was, I think it was at the 40 that they got it or something. It was,
Returned 0 yards to the UGA 36. So they had the ball on the Georgia 36-yard line after that interception. So terrific field position there. And they end up scoring the touchdown. 36 yards, 6 plays, and it's 14-10. And it's like, man, it feels like we've kind of dominated this game, but it's just a 1-possession game here. And I had this foreboding feeling in my belly. Like, man, we have had to fight and claw in order to come back so many times this year. And this just sort of hanging on and allowing this other team to hang around, like this feels like the opposite of that, right?
Yes.
Like we could lose this game, and I wouldn't be terribly surprised at this point.
Yeah, it's weird how it went from we could pull away to shit, it's a 4-point game. Like it's like opportunity squandered, and now it's going to be a tight finish. But then,
and part of the reason why it was frustrating watching this game is like, okay, the defense is doing well. But like Thorson had a terrible game. This is as bad a game as our punter has had that I can remember.
Yeah, he was bad.
Like he's shanking everything. Everything's going short. They kept saying like, yeah, we need to not let this kid make returns, right?
That's why. Like if you say to your guy who's really good, make sure you're extra good tonight because their returner is the best one in the country. You're going to get in his head and make him do weird things.
Just blast it out of the fucking end zone then. Stop.
Well, punting.
But the kid he's got the leg for it. And a lot of these were like at the 40 or at midfield. And he's trying to do the thing where it's like, well, I don't want him to catch it at the 5 or the 10-yard line where he might be set up for a return. And so I'm going to drop it at like the 25 or the 30. It's like, what are we doing? And I know you didn't allow any big returns out of that, but like you're only
one,
netting.
But then it got called back.
Right, and the one that he did do, they had a hold that called it back, but like they were netting like 15 or 20 yards on the punts. It was like, what the fuck is happening here?
Yeah, I wonder,
just blast it as far as you can and out of bounds, and it'll be just fine.
I wonder if the coaching staff was like, that's on us. Like like Lowry said, maybe we got in his head. Like let him be him.
Messed him up.
Maybe. But anyway, it goes 14-10, and we get the ball back and go on a 73-yard drive. Grunter looked very, very good in this game after that interception. He was basically perfect for the rest of the night.
Yeah, after that pick, like he looks amazing. I mean, like he's getting better and better. And just like, I think it was like, I don't know how many touchdowns he scored after that, but it was like touchdown, it was very fun fourth quarter. It just like the game just broke wide open. Like, if you weren't watching this game.
We're not in the fourth quarter yet. Shut up.
No, we are.
We are.
Our drive after that interception concludes in the fourth quarter.
Like if you don't, it's weird with these final scores. Like if you didn't watch the games, you're not paying attention. You're like, 35-10 must have been, whatever. But like it was, it broke open late.
It was just a weird game because the first quarter, I felt really good. I was like, man, we're going to kick their ass. And then for the middle two quarters, it was very much like, this just kind of sucks. Like, it's just nothing is happening. The offense can't get anything going. And then all of a sudden, we just absolutely could in the fourth quarter. And it was like it was the story of two Bobos or something, because you cannot deny that the guy knows how to call a football game after watching what we watched, right? Like, and this offense has been incredibly productive at times.
You haven't talked about the fourth down conversion followed by like what you're skipping the best part of the game.
All right, so following that touchdown, get the ball back, and we get the ball to the 36-yard line on 4th and 1. Do I have this right?
Yes. It was a third down that Cash Jones didn't get close, and they reviewed it as though he was close, and then they actually backed it up a little more after the review. So it was like 4th and 2, but at the 30-something.
Right.
At our own 30-something.
4th and 1 at the Georgia 36-yard line. And you're thinking there's just zero chance
punt, obviously.
that Kirby Smart is going to go for this. If you don't get this, you're going to give them the ball on your own 36 for the second straight possession after they just marched down the field and scored a touchdown after that pick. Like, you cannot go for this, right? 4th and 1 on your own 36. You'd be out of your goddamn mind to go for this. And what do? They line up and they actually hike the ball. I thought they were going to do try to get him to jump, and then call a timeout or just take the 5 yards. And you can't take the 5 yards there because now you're back 5 more and your punter sucks ass. But they hiked it. And instead of trying to run it with just 1 yard to go, where throughout this game, we had not been able to really get up the middle against this Texas defense. Frazier had by the end of the night, had a couple of nice runs straight up the gut for like 8-10 yards at a time. But when we had success, it was when we were getting a little bit outside off tackle. But even then, the Texas run defense had been stout up to this point. We had not been running the ball well. And so, like, it didn't feel good to go. And usually when I'm watching these games, I'm like, no, just fucking go for it. Why would you give them the ball back? I'm all for going for it most of the time. But that was not my feeling watching this. And we have a little rollout situation. Chauncey Bowens, the running back, scoots out over to the right side there and is wide the fuck open. And he hits him for the first down. And it was fucking fantastic. And then later in the drive, at midfield, it's 4th and 5 again, and we line up to go for it again. And I don't think, or Kirby said afterwards, we weren't actually going for it there. We were just seeing if we could get them to jump. And
I don't believe him.
I mean, it's what he said.
I know that's what he said. I don't believe a word he says.
I mean, but the way that the play ends up playing out, and the reason that I do believe him is because Grunter just throws a low percentage ball to Noah Thomas down the sideline, which doesn't get caught anyway. I don't know why they picked up the PI on that by the way, because they threw a flag for pass interference on that 4th and 5.
And offsides.
Yeah, because he's offsides, and then they say there is no foul for pass interference. However, there is a foul for offside, so first down, Georgia.
When you commit to going for it on 4th down like earlier, like why would you at that point like change course? Like, I mean, I'll take him at his word that they were trying to do whatever, but
sure.
Like if you go for it
I guess in his head you have a play for 4th and 1, but you don't have a play for 4th and 5 at midfield. Like we already blew our load with the 4th and 1 play, and maybe we don't have anything else on deck there. I don't know. I agree with you. It's weird to say we were willing to take the risk and give it to you at the 36, but not willing 2 minutes later to take the risk and give it to you at midfield.
At a normal place to do that.
Yeah.
But whatever. I mean,
I don't believe him.
I'm not sure that
expert liar.
I mean, but maybe because clearly they didn't have a play called that was nearly as good as the one that they had in mind for on the Bowens 4th down, because this was just a low percentage. Like, it was a classic, free play, fuck it, I'm throwing it downfield, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So first down, and we end up ending that drive with a 30-yard pass for the touchdown to London.
Lawson Lucky?
No, London
Humphreys.
London Humphreys.
Was this the
tight end?
Was this the blown coverage? Didn't Texas screw up in one of these plays where they overcommitted to one player and he was like wide open?
And then immediately following that, you're like, okay, good. We're up 21-10, but still I'm not feeling terribly comfortable here because it's only a 2-possession game. and we've just watched them score a touchdown, and our defense or our offense has not been able to get going. Like, yes, we had a good drive on that touchdown scoring drive, but it took converting 2 fourth downs in order to make it happen. So it's not like, oh, the dam has broken now and we're going to be just fine. No, this felt like, oh shit, we finally scored another touchdown. We've been waiting for this for 2 full quarters at this point. And then like I'm barely through my celebratory touchdown texts to the various group chat messages or what have you, and all of a sudden we're kicking a goddamn onside kick and we've got the ball back. Like, they took me by surprise. They obviously surprised the shit out of Texas.
I yelled very loud.
Yeah, it was very bizarre. And I don't know if had it not worked, people would be complaining. Thankfully, it worked. But again, if you watch those 2 players for Texas that were closest to the ball, even when I guess they were surprised too, obviously, but they didn't react to it like, oh shit, here comes the ball, let me get to the ball. They were like,
it seemed like they had every opportunity. At least one of them seemed like he was right there,
right,
with every opportunity to make a play on the ball, and just kind of chose not to.
I don't think that you could expect a person to be looking for the ball there
then that's
and
awful
processing.
Coaching. It is awful coaching.
Yeah.
Because that person's whole, like, half of his responsibility is to be aware that if the ball comes near me, I must pick it up, because if I don't, the other team gets it, which is the worst case scenario.
Yeah, well, I think
that's terrible coaching.
I think if there's something that was demonstrated in this game, it's that one of these coaches is better than the other if you just look at the composure element in the penalty column.
Yeah.
Like, this was Kirby Smart being a total dick.
I don't think it's being a dick. I don't see it as
like.
I don't see it as being desperate either, because this
it's not.
An onside kick can read
it's
as
one or
desperate.
the other.
But what you can, like, it's just that, like, he saw in this moment an opportunity to really take momentum, and it's silly sometimes to talk about.
You know what it is, Bob?
The momentum game.
It's, I'm crossing the finish line with a green shell, and I'm going to send the green shell backwards. That's what it is.
I mean, it's kind of hard to argue.
Tell me it's not a dick move to do an onside
what
kick there.
What you're referring to is kind of like calling a timeout when you're up by 2 scores and there's 27 seconds left on the clock and you could take a knee and end the game.
No.
But you call a timeout instead to rub it into your opponent's faces. And yes, many, many times, in fact, every single time I've had the opportunity, if I have a green shell as I'm crossing the finish line to win a race in Mario Kart, I will fire the green shell backwards for no reason except in the hopes of getting the hilarious result, which is to hit the person in second or third place and force them to fall even further behind.
So how is an onside kick when you're already ahead?
You have not won the game.
You're up 2 scores.
No,
in
you
the
haven't
fourth
won
quarter.
the game.
This is akin to firing the green shell backwards on the second lap, right? You're crossing.
It's like firing a red shell backwards is what it's like, which turns into a green shell. But that's not the point. It's a dick move. Yeah.
I disagree.
Love it.
I don't see how it's a dick move to try to steal a possession for your team. Like, it doesn't seem like it's. In order to be a dick move in any way, it has to be in some way low character. And there's nothing low character.
Not true.
It's not low character,
No.
but it is on the border of dickishness and disrespect. It's just like, what are we doing here? You're up 2 scores in the fourth.
Yeah, it's saying, oh, did you not
You're
see
up
that
2
coming?
scores at the start of the fourth quarter. The game is by no. We've won so many games where we were down by 2 scores in the fourth quarter, right?
I mean, the reason why it's ultimately fine because like this is a risk, you know, like it could have blown up in his face. Like if one of those 2 players were, maybe they were thinking, am I the hands team or am I the blocking team? Oh, they already got the ball. Like maybe they just too much thinking. Just ball comes your way, be like a caveman.
It was just
catch the ball.
Perfectly executed, though,
Yeah,
right?
no, it was perfect.
Yes.
Woodring gets the exact right bounce off that you love that
It
big
was
second
perfect,
hop.
yeah.
And Cash Jones just picks it up like right in his belly, and then there's nobody around him. Like, and it's kind of a shame you can't advance an onside kick.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it makes sense that you can't, but like he finds himself completely alone and just falls down on the ground.
Right.
And I don't think that Fowler or Herbie, somebody didn't know the rule.
You can't advance.
Because they said out loud in that moment, like he just falls down, like Like, he could have kept going. It's like, well, but there's no reason for him to keep going because you can't advance the kick anyway.
Yeah. All the defeated looks of those coaches on the sideline for Texas after, like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
If
then
you ask those coaches how that felt.
You go 24-10 and you don't feel as good about it, right? You're only up 2 touchdowns now. You're up 2 scores just like you were before. Like you're slightly more comfortable, but you don't really feel like you've shoved their head into the sand or anything like that, right? With this, you score that touchdown, you go up 28-10. It's like, okay, worst case scenario, you score a touchdown, we're still up by 2 scores. We're going to be just fine here. And they didn't. They went 3 and out, lost 4 yards on their next possession, and we get the ball back and score a touchdown just 5 plays later. Like it was an awesome series of events there to go from 14-10 to 35-10, kind of before you know it, and it became a complete runaway.
Yeah.
Like and the narrative coming out of this game is now, wait a second. Is Georgia the best team in the SEC? Have they been building to something all year? Were we foolish because they struggled against Tennessee, because they lost to Alabama like they always do, because they got into a weird shootout for Ole Miss for 3.5 quarters before
No, I mean, that wasn't weird. That was just a good game.
I mean, our defense couldn't do anything until the last 2 possessions
of the game. It was just a fun game.
They played with their food with Florida more than they should have, in all likelihood, right? Like, this is a Georgia team that has had to fight and claw to get wins, and now Texas comes to town, and we just put an absolute butt whipping on them.
Right.
And the narrative coming out of this is, oh man, maybe Georgia is the best team in the conference, and I think that's foolish. To be clear, I think Texas is not as good as everybody wants them to be coming out of this game, especially if you're a Georgia fan, right? You want Texas to have been awesome,
right?
Because we just kicked their ass. And I don't think that's going to be a problem for the team. I think it is a problem for the narrative, right? Like the national narrative about Georgia now is, oh shit, they're back.
Right. But at the very least, they're getting
a little bit of both.
They're getting better. I mean, they're in a good place. You know, now they have some garbage Charlotte team, and then they get the fun Georgia Tech game in a couple of weeks. And as it stands now, is Georgia on the inside track for the SEC title game, or is Alabama? Because
we still don't, because we're done with our SEC game, so we control nothing.
Right.
If Alabama wins,
do you want me to get the tweet out?
Sure, but the bottom line is that if Alabama and A&M both win, that's your SEC championship game.
Okay, so basically, just the FSU
Georgia
game doesn't count.
Alabama loss or A&M loss or Ole Miss win and win strength of schedule over Alabama is what that says, which I still don't really know what that means.
Wow, I didn't know that third component. The other two are pretty straightforward, but there's a backdoor in through a Ole Miss strength of schedule?
We have the head-to-head against Ole Miss, obviously, so I don't know how the Ole Miss strength of schedule factors in.
I don't either. But if Alabama loses to Auburn, we have to go. And if A&M loses to Texas, we have to go.
It's interesting framing. Like, basically, it's almost like you could do without it. Like, the SEC title is something that every SEC team aspires to win. But it's almost kind of like an obstacle to the playoffs. You know, the
problem is I don't want. I particularly, as much as I would like redemption against Alabama, and I think that we could beat them, based on what I saw against Texas, I think that this team is better prepared now to beat Alabama. And the reason for that is that
it's been a month and a half.
I mean, yeah, in part. It is very basic dude interpretation of football. The reason that we won that game is because we hassled the shit out of Arch Manning the entire time, particularly in that fourth quarter. We started hitting him, and we had sacks, and he had to hurry. And yeah, they had some drops early, right? We sort of glossed over that in the first quarter. One of those drives, one of those 3 and outs, he threw 3 entirely catchable footballs. One was a long one that would have been I think Wingo could have made an awesome catch, like 40 or 50 yards down the field, but had it juggle out of his hands. But a ball that should have been caught. Like, he got himself in a position to make the play, and it comes off of his hands. Should have been caught. The 2nd and 10 was another one that was just a straight-up drop. And then the 3rd and 10 would have been a nice play, kind of out in the flat off on toward the right sideline. that the guy had to lay out for. But again, he gets two hands on the ball and fails to bring it in, and that's 3 and out. Arch wasn't bad when he had time, but when he didn't have time, when he was harried, when we hurried him, he was not terribly accurate. And that goes for, we're not exactly moving on to the Alabama game now, but what Oklahoma was able to do to Ty Simpson was to get into his fucking face. And like, if you make things difficult, if you can get to the quarterback, you're going to win games. Right. And we did not get to Ty Simpson at all in that first game. And we hadn't gotten to the quarterback all year, really. We have
till last week.
Right. We have done very little harrying of the quarterback throughout this entire season. And then against Texas at home, all of a sudden our defensive line is getting pressure on the quarterback, and the result is we hold them to 10 points. Oh, and that only touchdown is because we gave them the ball on our own 36 on a terrible pick. So like, this was a dominant performance by the defense, largely because of getting pressure up the middle with our defensive line, and then occasionally with our linebackers as well. And that was with losing C.J. Allen, right? We lost C.J. early in this game, and we were still awesome. So, like, I would love to have redemption against Alabama, in large part because, like, could you knock Alabama out of the playoffs by beating them in the SEC championship game, since they now have that loss to Oklahoma, in addition to the terrible loss against FSU to start the year? And I don't know,
maybe,
because the committee is not terribly interested in punishing teams for playing in their conference championship games. And I think if they did so, it would warrant, in the minds of many, significant alteration to
not having them,
to the conference championship game concept, right? Because like, if we're going to punish Alabama and not put them in the playoff because they lost their conference championship game, there's going to be uproar about that. And so I don't know.
Yeah, I'd rather play Alabama in the first round of a playoff and knock them out then.
Yeah. Also, if they lose to Auburn, they're out anyway, right? So like, I would rather Alabama lose to Auburn, because if you have losses to Auburn and Oklahoma to end your year, in addition to that FSU game, like,
I would take playing in the SEC championship if it means Alabama lost to Auburn.
Right, and what's the only thing that's doubly concerning about it, because like, I love winning the SEC. Mark Richt used to say, our first goal is to win the SEC East because our second goal is to win the SEC championship, right? Like, it matters a great deal to win the SEC, and I want Georgia to win the SEC. But if we have to go to Atlanta to play Texas A&M, only to guarantee that they're going to be in the field of 12 anyway, you beat them there only to set up a potential rematch a few weeks later. That sucks ass. Yeah. Like, why should you have to beat them twice? And it's just, if you can avoid it without it looking bad, right? Which is what this would be if Alabama wins out and A&M wins out. It's not Georgia's fault, really, that we're not in the SEC championship game. We just lose the head-to-head to Alabama, and so we
get
lose
a home
the tiebreaker.
Game, which, if you get a bye, you don't get a home game.
So that's what's extra interesting, is I think there's a chance that you win that game. You beat Georgia Tech and avoid the SEC championship game. We could still be the 4th seed. We could still have a bye.
But we might not. I mean, could.
Yeah, but you take the bye, right?
I mean, it
would be awesome.
We did last year. It didn't go great.
Yeah, it didn't go great because we were starting a backup quarterback who didn't have any goddamn starts against a competent opponent. I would think that, as much fun as it would be to host a home playoff game, I think it would be totally fine to take the bye also.
Right.
We don't get to pick.
We don't get to pick, and we don't get to pick whether or not we're in the SEC because it's entirely out of our hands now. But
I like it.
I don't know, Abe, what do you think? Would you want to play in this game or no?
I think you still want to play. Maybe at some point that they get rid of these conference titles, like where people think that this is too punitive, because they say they're not going to hold it against you, but it's kind of hard to not hold a match.
Yeah, it's another loss.
Like, if you play in the title game and you lose by like 3 scores, like you get, right? Like, it's kind of hard to pretend that didn't happen, right? And you'll have a scenario to where a team looked bad on Championship Saturday, and an idle team who did not have to expose themselves at all gets the benefit of not playing, and they get into the 12-team playoff while the team that participated loses. And at that point, like, why would you even want to participate in the conference title? All it does is undermine your national title objectives, you know. So, like, if it gets to that point, then you'll have to do away with the current format.
I mean, what's funny, though, is, like, we lost that in the playoffs last year. I still like that we beat Texas for the SEC championship, right?
Yeah.
With a backup quarterback.
That's a nice thing to have in your back pocket when you look back on the 2024 season as well. We beat Texas twice, including in the SEC. We denied them an SEC title.
It is.
I don't know. I think it comes down to the fact that I don't want to have to beat A&M twice.
Right.
Like A&M seems like a pretty good football team.
Necessarily.
Somebody's going to have to beat. Like if we beat A&M in the SEC title game, somebody's going to have to beat A&M again, and there's a halfway decent chance that it's us.
Are you not? You didn't take much from that first half against South Carolina. How bad they looked. I mean, Texas A&M is a beatable team.
One more thing to close out the talk about Georgia, though, which is Kirby said in his post-game press conference.
Completely insane. Yeah, I drown my players. I like to drown them. You come to Georgia, you get drowned. And if you survive, well, then great. And if you don't, then you transfer.
Yeah, why was
and
he
you go
so
get a check somewhere else.
Aggressive overall this weekend with going for it and his comments after the game? Like, what happened? Like, did he have a problem with Sark?
I think that he thinks so. I am completely projecting.
Yeah.
But that onside kick, it's like he has no respect for him.
Right.
Like he likes him, but he thinks he sucks.
And also they're competing for the same players. I mean, Arch was considering Georgia. You know, there's so many players.
A lot of players that transferred, or not transferred, but flip-flopped.
Yeah.
You know, like, I committed to one place and going to the other.
Right.
It's like he likes him, but thinks he's shitty.
Right.
My opinion of Sarkisian is not improved after watching this game. I think I've made the joke before about, or maybe Jimmy did, about how Sarkisian looks like he's 30 seconds from falling off the wagon all the fucking time. Like, I'm watching him in his post game, and it's like, man, that dude could use a drink. He just does not seem like he's. I would not trust his sobriety, is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
All right, but this is Kirby post game press conference talking about how a lot of these kids, they want to check.
Yeah, it's the approach we take. We're gonna dominate and try to win the fourth quarter. It's what we do in practice. It's what we do in the off season. It's what we build our core culture around, is being a more physical team. And you have to recruit physical players, and they have to buy into that process. I don't know that a lot of these kids nowadays, they want to check. They don't want physicality. And if you have the check and no physicality, you end up with nothing. So we're not just getting checks at our place. We're hitting people.
That does seem like it's got to be directed at Texas and at Sarkisian.
Right.
He says after, I'm not just talking about Texas.
Right.
Like, you are just lies on lies.
I know, but like, yeah, he's bringing it up here. He also said something about, like, you know, like almost like if they lose a player to that other school, like they want that other school on their schedule just to show them. Like, and like, well,
that was today.
Yeah.
That was a different press conference.
right. So it's just like, where's all this energy coming from?
He thinks that Steve Sarkisian is doing everything wrong.
This is speculation based entirely on, like, just a feeling I get watching him and listening to him after this game. I don't think he's sticking around. I think he's gone. I think he will jump at the very first opportunity at the NFL, whatever it happens to be. Not an OC situation, but like the first head coaching job that
the Titans,
is offered.
You know, like as they were rumored, you know, Tennessee.
Yeah, the Titans would make sense. I don't think it matters. I think he's gone. It's just a feeling I get watching him. He doesn't seem excited or happy or at all into it.
He also, and maybe this is just production, you know, like I don't know what is happening that I'm not seeing. The amount of penalties that Texas got, that they showed the angry other coach, but they didn't show an angry Steve Sarkisian. He was annoyed more than, like, if it was Kirby with these kids making these like dumb mistakes.
Yeah.
Like, not like sometimes you get a PI called because you're trying to prevent a touchdown, but like it was multiple where it's like you're not coaching them not to do that. And that's why I think that Kirby Smart thinks Steve Sarkisian sucks.
Right.
No. Anyway, certainly not the only game of the weekend, though it was the most fun
It was
for
pretty great.
me personally. As you were saying, should we fear Texas A&M after the display that they put on in the first half against South Carolina, where, as you're saying, it looked like I got consecutive texts from Abe and from my buddy Naveed saying, I'm pretty sure Marcel Reed has money on this game, and not in the good way.
I mean, there were a handful of balls that literally just went to the other player. Like it felt like you're just trying to give the game away. It made no sense.
Right. First half was really bad, and they go down 30-3. And yeah, Marcel Reed was as bad as you can imagine a quarterback playing. And that was when I put $5 on Texas A&M to come back and win.
I would have supported that if we were in the same place.
In part because it's like they can't possibly, like, it's not like South Carolina has been awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just Texas A&M has done everything in their power to make sure that South Carolina gets out to a big lead here. So if they come back and show anything, like, I know South Carolina can't do a lot. Like, Lenore's had a couple of fun throws in this game to a couple of wide open dudes, but like, you just don't trust South Carolina after the way that this season has gone. And it's like if A&M can get anything on track, maybe they've got a chance to come back and win it. And they end up coming back all the way back. 31-30 is how this game ends.
South Carolina literally does not score again, right? Or they were up 30-3 or what?
30-3.
30-3, yeah.
And they lose 31-30. By the way, it should be noted, that idiot cop was making the rounds, who shoulder checks one of the players and then he points to the other player.
Yeah.
The before and after striking, the team is eating shit. This guy does his goon-like behavior, turns things around. Do you think he...
Yeah, it's one of Texas A&M's weird traditions that we didn't know about.
Do you think he's taking credit for this turnabout? That he did something to cause about this shift? I was thinking a partial lobotomy would do, but maybe it was just the cop.
What a fucking shithead.
Oh, total shithead.
What is he doing?
I have no idea. Because, I mean...
Being a cop.
You had this very tall... I think he was like a track and field star. He runs like 80-yard touchdown, and he's pulling like a hammy or something, so he just kind of runs out. Some of his teammates chase after him. Seems kind of like, totally fine. Like, can't believe Texas A&M.
I didn't know how to like explain to my kids that, like, because I don't want to say, "Oh, what a fucking cop," Like, you don't want to demean the police in that way. But the guy was behaving like such a fucking piece of shit cop. It's like,
and he must
total
know
fucking cop behavior here, isn't it?
Televised, right? So, like, no concern for just how it looks. Like,
you don't make contact. And it's so obvious. Like, everyone has walked past a red ass dude who's like refusing to get out of the way, and then gets offended when you brush into him because he's made himself as big as possible in order to get brushed into, and in order to subsequently take offense to that. And that's 100% what this cop is doing here.
Yeah,
just going, bowing up, getting big, and making sure that his shoulder goes right into that other dude. And then, as you're saying, the one that he points at and yells at is the one who scored the touchdown, who's not the one that he shoulder checked.
Was he expecting that the three players go single file and make way for this cop who was going nowhere, by the way? He's not going to the bathroom. Where is he going? He's just like
wherever he wants. I drive a truck.
Yeah, he's like seeking
make your lanes bigger.
Contact, perhaps not to make everything about gambling, but perhaps he had some money and things were going south, and he just was pissed. If these fucking cocks are beating me, I'm gonna lose all this money.
I'm not sure that the epithet that was going through his head. I don't like to assume racisms, but I don't think the epithet going through his head, his imaginary head at that moment, is cocks. Some other consonants involved
perhaps.
Anyway, a great. I mean, all credit. I mean, granted, South Carolina sucks, and you cannot deny that, and it's as evidenced by what happens in that second half there. But it is, and as easy as it is, and I was listening to my son's soccer. We had our last soccer game of the season, mercifully, on Saturday.
It could be the last one ever
And
if we make it.
They went down 4-0 or 5-0 at the half, and the kids were down in their, sort of dragging a little bit at the halftime thing. And he's like, "Hey, get your chin up, kids. If they can score 4.5, there's no reason why we can't score 4.5 and come back and win this thing." It's like, I mean, we saw the first half, Coach. Like, come on. And we've seen the whole season up to this point. I mean, it would be like if South Carolina was down 30-3 at the half and Shane Beamer was like, "Hey, if they can score 30.5, no reason why we can't score 30. It's like, come on, Beamer.
Yeah.
Like, but like for Elko, it's believable, right? Like South Carolina sucks. And we could, if we just come back and start scoring here, we're going to be just fine. And they were. And all credit to them. For doing so. You have to win the games like this if you expect to stay undefeated and keep going forward. So good for them. I do think that it does open that window, though, right? Like if you can give Marcel Reed trouble, I mean, it goes for all quarterbacks, but like if you can pressure the quarterback and make him flustered, then good things can happen for you. And if the other thing is like if South Carolina, which again sucks, can score 30 points in a half against Texas A&M. There's no reason why Georgia can't score points against this team. And we have now proven, Georgia has proven that we can win all of the different ways, right? You can win when you get your way down. You can win in a goofy shootout. You can win when you establish yourselves as the dominant power and then maintain that throughout the rest of the game. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it tells you about A&M except that, like, no, they're 10-0, and they're going to play in the SEC title game if they can beat Texas.
Right. It's similar to what happened with Alabama. Turnovers, never a good thing to turn the ball over a lot, or any sort of special teams blunders. I think, wasn't there a fumble return for a touchdown? There was a go ahead.
A kick, a missed field goal that made the kicker yell at the long snapper.
Oh, yeah. What was that?
Are we talking about the Alabama game now?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was yelling at the long snapper for it being a high snap. The holder got the ball down. And, to me, it was a bad look for the kicker.
So this is not what was that Ace Ventura thing? Laces in?
Yeah, but he's not yelling at the holder. He's yelling at the long snapper for a bad snap. And, granted, it wasn't a great snap, but he got the ball down. I'm sorry your timing was a little bit off. But to me, that looked like that was it was blocked anyway, but it was fully fucking shanked.
Also, in any event, don't show up a teammate, in that situation.
Don't yell.
Right. How many times has the long snapper turned around when a kicker has shanked one and gone like, "You fucking piece of shit kicker."
Yeah.
Right? And then made a big production about what a fucking bum the kicker is. It doesn't happen.
Does not happen, yeah.
Ty Simpson was not great in this game. He didn't look comfortable. The Oklahoma defense was able to get to him and make him uncomfortable. And he ends up throwing a pick, and Alabama loses 2 fumbles on top of that. And it's tough. You lose the turnover battle 3-0. It's tough to win in this league, as they say.
I did not watch this game live. I went back to watch it, and Alabama was able to move the ball with some ease. I think they had almost twice as many yards. They've had
statistically
400. I think almost literally twice as many yards. 422 to 200 something.
Yeah, so it's
all turnovers.
It's just those turnovers killed them. And as I'm watching the replay of it, I'm like, this Alabama team never shows up against Georgia. They show up for some random ass Oklahoma, which is not a good team. They're fine, but they're not some world beaters. And they went to Alabama and they beat them.
Mateer was fine, like you're saying. He wasn't great in this game, but he was fine. And yeah, it is frustrating on that level to watch Alabama. Can you lay an egg against Georgia just one fucking time?
Although, you know what's something? The SEC top tier powerhouses, right? Alabama, Georgia, the last decade. It's Alabama, Georgia in general, right?
Sure.
The new kids, Texas, Oklahoma, we have only beaten Texas.
We've beat Texas 3 times, yeah.
And Alabama has only lost to Oklahoma.
They've lost to Oklahoma twice.
It's
yeah.
just interesting. It's cute.
Yep.
There's something nice about it. We're better. Fuck off.
Somebody had like that circular kind of thing where like this team can't beat this team, who can't beat this team, who can't beat that team. It just goes in a circle. So it's like Alabama can't beat Oklahoma.
All right, elsewhere in the SEC this week, Florida tried to do the thing that would have been very, very funny, which was to beat Lance Kiffin. But for the fact that that Kejuan Lacey kid ran for 200-odd yards, and like this ends up 34-24, but this game was 24-20 at the half, and then went scoreless until like the last 5 minutes or so before Ole Miss was able to pull away. Including a long, not quite a touchdown. I think Lacey got it down to like the 5-yard line or something before punching it in himself, and so they ended up comfortable. But it was fit right in with the narrative that we had heard all week, which is people talking about how Lance Kiffin is always saying our coaching staff needs to be incredibly thankful and grateful for the existence of this running back Lacey, and then he comes in and saves the day.
Yeah.
Ole Miss is a fun, fine story. Won 10 games. They have an outside chance of sneaking into the SEC championship game, but I don't think they're a threat to do anything meaningful and make any sort of a real playoff run. I don't think they can beat a real good team.
What do you make of another politician getting involved in sports? Like the Secretary of State for Mississippi is asking Lane Kiffin to make a decision before, I guess, the Egg Bowl.
Has he really?
Yeah. And so
why is he getting
we
involved?
don't have to talk about Lane Kiffin anymore.
and I think-
When I was having my like weird trying to sleep but can't because of the vaccine things, Lane Kiffin kept working into my head.
Oh, yes.
Lori's now
Sucked.
dreaming about Lance Kiffin.
It was just like I don't want to think about Lane Kiffin.
He's lost a lot of weight. He's not drinking anymore. He does hot
the
yoga.
yoga thing, yeah.
I don't want him in my brain. I don't want him in my conversation.
Banging co-eds, and Lori's now dreaming about him.
He's grown on me the last whatever. I don't hate him like I used to, but I don't want to talk about him and I want to think about him.
Anyway,
when I'm
Lance
trying to sleep.
will absolutely not make any decision about anything because what Lance Kiffin wants more than anything else is to be the topic of conversation.
Yeah, so let's not.
All right. Elsewhere in the SEC, LSU hangs on and beats Arkansas, or scores late to beat Arkansas in a game that was closely competed, 23-22. Both of those teams, of course, looking for coaches next year. And then Mizzou, and we can talk about this in the CIB Pick'em game, because I thought the Bizarros stood a chance here of beating Mizzou because of their terrible quarterback. And instead, Mississippi State gave up 300 yards on the ground to a single player.
Wow.
Mizzou running back, last name of Hardy, Ahmad Hardy, 25 carries, 300 yards, and 3 touchdowns. That's 12 yards every time they handed him the ball. Why would you do anything
Literally,
else?
yeah. That's remarkable.
Their quarterback, the Zollers kid, who I said sucked, goes 8 for 15 for 112 yards, 2 touchdowns and 1 pick, a 32 QBR. I was right. Mizzou's quarterback is terrible. I just did not account for the fact that they were going to rush the ball with one dude for 300 yards. Whoops.
Pittsburgh sucks.
Yeah, well, whatever.
Apparently, Pitt coach was not trying to reverse psychologize Marcus Freeman and Notre Dame. He, in fact, was not planning on being prepared to play a football game this weekend. And it looked it on the field. Indiana handles Wisconsin with little trouble.
UVA won and Duke lost.
UVA won. UVA kind of thwomped Duke, actually.
Georgia Tech had to come from behind to beat a shitty Boston College.
Boston College is bad, and they haven't won any games, or they've won one game, I guess, somewhere along the way. But they have fought, right? Like they fought against Notre Dame also, and Notre Dame's a pretty good team as it turns out. But yeah, Georgia Tech had to score 19 points in the fourth quarter in order to win by 2.
To beat
that Brent Key is a humorless psychopath, by the way. I don't like him
because of that, or just in general.
I mean, I just don't. Obviously, he's the Tech coach, so I don't like him.
Yeah.
But like, first of all, he looks a little bit like a guy in real life who I don't like, so that doesn't help.
I have no idea who.
Don't care for Brent Key. He gets asked in the post game.
He does seem to take himself too seriously in a way that's not fun. But, if I were a Tech fan, I would like him.
Yeah.
Coach Key, what did we just witness?
We won the game. We got a lot of work to continue to do, but we got to win, and happy about that.
What does the double-digit comeback by this group say about their identity?
Well, it says we don't need to be getting in double-digit deficits, but I mean, a lot of things out there we shouldn't allow that to happen. But we did, credit to them, and we're able to stay the course and stay together and come back.
How do you describe the play of your quarterback, Haynes King, tonight?
He wants the ball regardless, and he's special. He is special.
All right, congratulations on the win. You can smile. You did win.
Go Jackets.
There we go.
Does he think that this goes over well with anyone? Does he not realize, like, your job is, like sure, half of it is here on the field, win games. But the other half of it is, like, be appealing.
Right.
Like, literally just be appealing. And I know, like, maybe that's less important now because, like, either a kid's going to come or he's not going to come because of the check, as we were talking about earlier. But, like, he seems to have no feel for, like, half the job.
Maybe this is too small of a sample size. Is he like this in other settings? Because, like, what if he's just so upset and pissed that he's trying to regulate his emotions?
He was so mad after the Georgia game last year. I remember that press conference.
Yeah. He should have been.
But, like, I wonder
that was terrible.
He's trying to, like, regulate his emotions, and this is the best he can do. He's gonna just pretend like, well, we won. What do you mean?
But that's the thing. Like, it's what I say all the time about these cranky coaches. Like, in game, have all the emotions you want. You don't need to regulate them during the game. When it's over, recognize that this is all a little bit silly and supposed to be fun.
And you won, you dipshit.
Like, you won.
You still have in front of you the opportunity, if you can beat, they play Wake, maybe, or they play Wake or NC State or somebody next week, or is it Duke? I don't know.
They play Pitt next week.
Pitt, okay, they play Pitt next week. I should have known that. They beat Pitt, and they beat Georgia. First of all, they don't even need to beat Georgia, but you beat Pitt, you're in the ACC championship game, I believe, right?
Yeah, they're currently...
You're 7-1 in the ACC. Yeah. I think should be good enough if you beat Pitt to go play in the ACC title game and therefore make the playoff, right? It's all still in front of you. You've just done the thing. And if you can beat Georgia, you've got a pretty good shot at vaulting yourself all the way into like a bye for the playoff. And if not that, then at least hosting a home game in the playoff. So like, what the fuck is your problem, man? Be a little bit happy here. Right. Your team, you're Georgia fucking Tech, and you're going to play for the ACC if you can get a win next week.
Currently first in the ACC, 9-1. I mean, like, but again, it must be, these coaches, they're consumed by the sport, and ultimately they have very little control. It rests on the shoulders of 18 to 22-year-olds. So like if whatever game plan that he came up with, all the dinners missed, and he's like didn't have the control, and it's probably.
Yeah, there's also,
but that's silly.
There's
it's
another,
fun.
There's another team there, right? Like this is where I have no sympathy for them because, like, the other asshole had to put a bunch of 18 to 22-year-olds on the field too, right? And they really want to win also. So like, just, here we are. You won the game. Have a fucking time.
All right. Like Bo Nix said that time.
Big Ten. Iowa and USC. USC gets a win, and it looked like at the end of this game, Lincoln Riley had won the fucking Super Bowl. Like Lincoln Riley thought he was going to Disney World or something at the end of this game. It's the complete opposite of
Lincoln
Brent
Riley
Key.
might be going to Disney World. They basically live there.
Yeah.
Well, Disneyland.
USC has sneakily, in some ways, positioned themselves to, with a win against Oregon, have a pretty strong argument for making the field of 12 without having to play in their conference championship game. They would have gone 7-1 in the Big Ten, and they kind of need this win against Oregon because they don't have. I have to pull up their schedule here, but I don't think that they exactly have another great win.
They basically they lost to Illinois and Notre Dame. They beat Michigan and Iowa, and now they got Oregon. And
Right. If they can beat Oregon, I think they have a reasonably strong argument as a 2-loss team to get in over any 3-loss team, certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess we'll see. I think game day is going to
Yeah.
this USC Oregon game this weekend.
It's kind of the only
Man,
good
this is an
game. It's
atrocious
the only
weekend
ranked on
coming up.
ranked game.
Yeah. This has got to be
Yeah.
I know we'll do this on the Thursday show, but one of the worst weekends slate.
Yeah.
No, this is good because we're all very busy. I have a thought on that, which we will talk about.
Well, they were down 21-10 at the half, and then ended up scoring all of the rest of the points in the game to win 26-21. But then also in the Big Ten, you had Michigan. This is not meaningful in terms of the game itself because it was not a very good game. But Michigan kicks a field goal with time expiring. Oh, speaking of, did I forget to mention this with the Georgia Tech game? Reminded of it because of Michigan winning this game with, I think they kicked a field goal with time expiring.
Yeah.
Georgia Tech had the ball 4th and 1 at like the 5 or 6 yard line at the end of this game, down 1 point, and was going to kick a field goal to win it. And they had timeouts left. They didn't catch I think it was 3rd and 1. They went for it. They ran the ball. They didn't get it. And so now it's 4th and 1. He calls a timeout with 14 seconds left.
It's weird.
Why did you call a timeout with 14 seconds left in order to kick a field goal and to give that other team any opportunity whatsoever? There's no scenario in which it makes any sense not to let that clock wind to 2 or 3 seconds and then bang your timeout.
Right.
What are you thinking? Like I couldn't figure out what the thought process was, except like maybe if I call this timeout, they'll give me the first down. Like they'll look at the play and under review, I'll have the first down as it turns out. Like it just didn't make any sense to me whatsoever. But like we said about USC now has an opportunity with a win against Oregon to have a pretty strong argument to make the field of 12. Michigan, oddly enough, is 6-1 in the Big Ten, 8-2. They don't have any meaningful wins. They had to kick a field goal with time expiring to beat Northwestern this weekend, which, by the way, Northwestern should have won this game, but because they'd already used up their one, we're going to win a game unexpectedly this season, the gods demanded that they lose this game. Michigan plays Ohio State in a couple of weeks here. They've beat them, is it 4 or 5 times in a row? I think it's 4 times in a row. They have an opportunity to beat Ohio State
At home
in the Big House for the 5th year in a row. If they win this game, they are absolutely in the fucking playoff, right?
Okay, so if they beat, obviously it'd be a great win, but their schedule is
Oh, they
pretty
have
light.
nothing else.
Holy
There's
shit.
nothing else on their resume that suggests that they deserve to be in the playoff.
The only other ranked team they played was Oklahoma, and they lost to them. USC they lost to, but do you think that's enough? 8-2.
Wait, so if they beat Michigan, they'll be 10-2?
And they weren't competitive in their losses either, right?
Yeah, they'll be.
Yeah,
No.
they would be 10-2.
They got Maryland
They-
next week, but they should win that.
This is a stupid time to have this conversation, but if you have a Vanderbilt that's 10-2 and a Michigan that's 10-2, Diego Pavia, right?
Except Michigan just beat the best team in the country.
Yeah.
It is hard to argue with Michigan's claim
That's
if they've
true.
just beat what has looked like the
Yeah.
best team in the country all season long.
They probably won't, though.
Yeah.
They probably won't. This team is better than the Michigan team that beat them last year.
But Ohio State lost that game.
And I don't think Ohio State is better than the Ohio State team that lost last year.
They might be. We just have no idea because they haven't played anyone.
Because they haven't fucking played anybody either.
But we don't. I don't want to have this conversation right now.
This is what is. I know you don't want to because we've gone a long while anyway. But like, it is exciting because we don't know what we have with Ohio State. We think we sort of know what we have with Indiana, right? Like, they've been punched
Oregon.
in the mouth. They played Oregon.
They played Penn State, and that was exciting.
Played an underwhelming Penn State team that has plenty of talent, and they had to fight and claw, and they ended up winning that game. So maybe Indiana's actually pretty good. But we don't know that they're great. And, like, is this one of those years where Georgia, like, oddly enough, was sneaky under the radar for the bulk of the season, and, like, we're going to get into the playoff, and you just don't know what's going to fucking happen. Right. This is the first time all year after this Texas game, and maybe it's fool's gold. Maybe it is maybe Texas does suck as much as I think that they do. But, like, my feeling is, Georgia could win the national title this year. And the thought hadn't really, I hadn't taken that thought seriously. I hadn't really entertained that thought.
Well, the defense sucked
until this weekend.
They got better.
Right. A lot of teams.
It'll be more interesting after we play Tech.
I mean, they're in the mix, definitely.
But you just wouldn't be shocked, right? Like after that Alabama game, after what we saw against Tennessee, after what we saw against Florida, they'd be like, "What are you talking about? We're not gonna. This is not a national title kind of fucking team this year."
Right.
But the last couple weeks, the defense continues to figure it out. I don't know. Could be fun. Any other games that we missed that are worth mentioning? Clemson and whoever they played on Friday night. Who do they play?
Louisville.
Clemson and Louisville played an ugly-ass game. This was who wants to lose this game more kind of game. And Clemson lost that contest and therefore got the win. All right. CIB 2025 Pick'em contest update. Abe remains in the lead, expanding his lead now, up by 20 points. Abe's got 210. I've got 190. Cousin Steve did eventually. Apparently he's traveling. He was in Florida, but he got his picks in plenty of time. He has 187 points. And then Lori bringing up the rear in the caboose with 157. Jimmy gets one right. He had South Carolina plus the 18.5. Was looking really good there. I imagine Jimmy was spending that money at halftime, up 30-3.
It was looking real good.
Cash that ticket. Like we said, Pitt, Abe, that was one of your wrong ones, and it was wrong like right away.
Slightly off.
As soon as those two teams took the field, it was like, oh no, this isn't going to work out. And anything on the NFL slate that you watched yesterday? I didn't watch. Didn't pay attention to the NFL this weekend, really.
Yeah, the Colts were off this week, so I paid less attention to it. I was just surprised that the Chargers played so poorly. Like, I can't get a good feel for these teams. I mean, there was one good game, the Bucks and the Bills. The Bills eventually pulled away at the end,
right.
But I did not watch a lot of the games.
Yeah, I just watched a few of the highlight packages with the boy this morning and didn't really watch any games. I saw the end of that. The Chiefs lost a close one to the Broncos, which meant enduring a happy Bo Nix and a happy Sean Payton, which is not a pleasant combination of things.
Sean Payton, he was standing on the sidelines too close to the field, I guess, and there was a ref running, trying to keep up with what was going on the field, and he ran right into Sean Payton, and he immediately gets a penalty for getting in the way. And I don't know if Payton did that intentionally, but he was kind of just out there, just like in the way. I don't understand why you can't just move back a little, give these refs a chance. They're kind of old, one hip injury away. Yeah,
well, he earned himself a $1,000 bounty for taking out a ref. I mean, everybody knows that's how the ref's worth $1,000 in the Sean Payton bounty system.
It is interesting how atop the AFC, there are a lot of fraud potential teams. Nobody seems to be buying into the Broncos, Patriots, and the Colts. Even though the Broncos just beat the Chiefs, there's this thinking that the Bills and the Chiefs, when the playoff comes, they're going to turn things around
So the
And,
Chiefs, I buy that argument. I've seen the Chiefs play a bunch of these games, and they lose these one possession games. I think they have 5 losses.
Yeah.
They're 5-5 now, all by 1 score.
Yeah.
The Bills show up sometimes and just look like total dog
Right.
shit, though.
They lost to the Falcons. Yeah, I don't understand that team. They're just, I don't know what's going on with them.
I wouldn't be surprised at all if the Chiefs get into the playoffs and make another Super Bowl run, just because they're 5-5. But like I said, played a lot of close games. I would be surprised if the Bills turn out to actually be great at this point.
Wow. So not concerned about the Chiefs yet.
Not yet, no. Chargers are 7-4, but similarly schizophrenic.
Right. Everybody, anybody can win it. That's why not the Colts?
I mean, I'm fully on board. I want to have to eat my words for making fun of you for making a $500 bet that the Colts were going to win a Super Bowl, and for them to do it in the first year of that bet would just be amazing. You would have to how do you retire from gambling and then make the most outrageous Super Bowl bet with not even getting any odds,
No,
right?
that's
You just $500 against that guy's $500 that the Colts of all teams are going to win a Super Bowl with. At that moment, Anthony Richardson is the
That's
franchise
right.
quarterback.
And you know what? In the very unlikely scenario where that happens, the first thing I'm going to say is double or nothing. Because running back, you're going to win back-to-back Super Bowls. That's what's going to happen.
Will not be happy until you're completely broke.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Like I said, Jimmy won. He's now 7-5. You are now 10-10 in Abe
Get
Live Bets
that.
the games, and
11 and 10. Come on.
looking good at the moment. Cowboys up 17-6. Lori, let's update the quarterback contest here.
The contest where you have like an insurmountable lead in.
Yeah, it's super insurmountable.
Yeah, and at this point with these,
Did it get even more insurmountable this
Yeah.
weekend?
Yeah, 1541 to 1105 and 1169.
It's a lot of points. Who had the standout performance of the weekend out of all of our quarterback rooms?
Blake Horvath and Navy, 45 points.
Oh, yeah. I think I should get a bonus in some form. I'm going to win, but I'm going to demand a Heisman bonus when Fernando Mendoza wins
Okay,
the Heisman.
you can have it.
yes, you can have it. No
Bonus
objections to
awarded.
this imaginary additional points that you don't need.
Who's going to New York for the Heisman ceremony this
That's
year?
actually a good question.
Oh, let's talk about it some other time.
Oh, real quick, I just want to pull up
Nothing is real quick with you.
pull up the Heisman odds here. Up to the moment, Heisman odds. If Grunter's not in the top 6, at least,
He
I'm going
is.
to be upset. Grunter's been every bit as worthy of a Heisman Trophy as anybody else this year. Here are the favorites for the Heisman Trophy at the moment. This is from Vegas Insider. Last updated today. All right, this works out. Fernando Mendoza, plus 100. So the clear favorite right now is Fernando Mendoza. Julian Sayin of Ohio State. Marcel Reed, Texas A&M, at plus 850. Diego Pavia, plus 2,500. And number 5, Grunter Stockman of Georgia, plus 3,000.
Wow.
That tells me I got to get $5 on Grunter Stockman.
Oh, he's not winning anything. He'll go
When is the ceremony? When do they vote?
after championship
Yeah,
weekend.
sometime in December, right? Like middle of December.
After championship weekend is when they vote. Yeah, I don't love Grunter's chances if they're not going to factor in a potential national title run.
He's also not. Yeah.
I mean, he's not going to campaign for it, right? He's not
Yeah,
going to.
he doesn't-
He's not one of these Hollywood starlets
No.
campaigning for an Oscar. He's not going to go on Kimmel.
No attack ads.
You've been listening to Cast Iron Balls, a podcast about sports with Bob and Abe. Laurie's here too. You can find the show on Substack, brainiron.substack.com for more from us. The opening and closing themes of the show were composed by Mark Gillig, tetramermusic.com, Tetramer music.com for more from Mark. Abe, did anything else in the world of sport catch your eye this weekend?
So over the weekend, the Falcons had another loss. The team looks pretty bad, and their quarterback, Michael Penix Jr., suffered an injury, I think it was like in the third quarter. So by all accounts, he is going to miss significant time because, according to the reports, he aggravated a pre-existing issue, and he may also need a full reconstruction of his legs. Like, I think he had like an ACL issue.
Oh, bummer.
This could bleed into next year. So this would be potentially like the fifth year where some sort of season-ending injury has occurred to him in his many years of college football, back when I think it was with Indiana. So like this is like 4 or 5 years where there's season-ending related injuries. As of right now, he's been placed on IR. In theory, he can come back like a couple weeks before the season ends, but by all accounts, he's going to have some major surgery, and again, he may not start next year. He was the 8th overall pick or whatever. The Falcons actually had to move up to get him, and now that trade that they made with the Rams is now a top 10 spot, top 10 pick. I think if it were to end right now, the season were to end, it would be the number 8 pick. It likely will be like a top 5 pick because now you have Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, you like that Kirk Cousins is now your starting quarterback.
Right, and so like if the wheels just kind of fall off, this could be like an amazing pickup for the Rams. And the Falcons have no real answer at quarterback because are they going to trot out Kirk Cousins next year? No, he's likely going to be cut because they had to eat a lot of his salary, and I think he will likely go somewhere else or retire. And so they'll need some quarterback for next year before Michael Penix Jr. comes up. So things are trending in the wrong direction. They're going to have to clean house and reset the whole thing.
That sucks. I like Michael Penix Jr.
Just the injury concern. I guess maybe that
yeah, because the Rams have a shot here to make a run in the playoffs, right? So the Rams are good, and they're going to get a top 5 pick potentially out of this.
It's amazing. Yeah, they're I think they're like 8-2. Like they're doing great.
Speaking of poverty franchises, the Cleveland Browns had to start.
Oh yeah, Sanders, right?
Well, Dylan Gabriel started, I think, and then he was concussed or otherwise injured in this game and had to leave. And so Shador finally comes into a game, and the media cannot help themselves when it comes, and certainly the Sanders family cannot help itself either. But like, they would ask Shador Sanders, like, why aren't you getting more reps with the number 1 team or whatever? Like, why aren't you? And he would like play coy. Yeah. He would just be like, I don't know. It's not for me to say, right? Like could it possibly be that you're not fucking ready yet? Like there's a reason that you fell as far as you did, and then the idiot Cleveland Browns were like, yeah, we'll take a flyer on Shador Sanders. And I was reading something about this where it's like, if you're going to take Dylan Gabriel, who's something of a project, according to most folks, and Shador Sanders, who is very much something of a project, according to most folks, then it makes sense to carry those veteran quarterbacks that you had on your roster, right? They come into the year with, who was it besides Joe Flacco? Kenny Pickett.
Yeah.
So they've got Kenny Pickett there. They trade him away fairly early on, and then they trade Joe Flacco away as well. And you're just left with the 2 rookies who nobody thought were going to be ready, and as it turns out, are not ready. Shador Sanders went 4 of 16 in his time on the field and did not look at all comfortable out there. And took some sacks that he probably shouldn't have taken because he is slow to process everything that's going on in front of him, just like he was in college when he had to face elite defenses. Anyway, it's just it is amusing to watch these franchises make the same mistakes over and over again. And the Jets are going to bench Justin Fields now,
right? Also,
it's like, yeah, you think? Lori, did anything else in the world of sport catch your eye this weekend?
No.
Well, at least the Disney YouTube thing has finally settled, so we're good there.
Oh man, it was so nice to be back to normal watching
Friday night.
Watching the sports on Friday night.
As soon as I got the notification, I was like, "Oh, turn it on." It was great.
It's just so much. It's just you give us this thing which is easy and it works well, and we can watch all of the games in one app, and we don't have to fucking jump around and do other bullshit. And then you take it away, and it's just not right. Apparently, this settlement includes we will now have access to the ESPN Unlimited app as a YouTube TV subscriber. So, Abe, you're going to get all of the WWE action
finally
that you've been missing. Abe, have you got anything else? I expect that in the anything else segment moving forward, we will hear WWE updates from Abe. Abe, have you got anything else for us tonight?
Nope.
Well, I guess that's all we've got for you tonight then, and we'll talk to you next time.
Later.
But the idea that you should cold call churches to demonstrate your moral superiority over the churches because they won't give formula to a fake baby.
Right. Well, they don't know that the baby is fake. So in theory, they're testing their willingness to help.
But what are we proving here?
I wouldn't know how to give someone formula over the phone.
Do you know how many times I was approached in a gas station in Athens, face to face, with someone with a sob story?
Right.
And one time I gave a $20 bill to a person, and less than 10 days later was approached by the same person with the same sob story, face to face.
Did you call him on it?
Yes.
How did that go?
I said,
Did they drop the
I am
axe?
the same person that gave you a $20 bill here last week at about this time of night. It was 3:30 in the morning.
Did you break into a Bush Jr.ism? Like there's an expression in Texas, that sort of thing?
But
There's a saying in There's a saying in Tennessee. Well, we have it in Texas. You probably have it in Tennessee. Fool me once, shame on you.
we have demonstrated nothing about the
Fool
world
me you don't get fooled again.
Yes, that's right. And that's
With-
yeah.
with the fake baby story.
Do you find it comparable to a secret shopper?
Yes.
Like what value do these?
I don't know,
companies
because
get out of it?
when I used to do secret shoppers, I always, after years of it, I know the deal, right?
Yeah.
And the best part about it was that you could say anything. And as long as you hit the 5 things that you had to say.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I can still find them. I'm sure I mentioned this on the show way back when we started because it was more top of mind. But I had recordings in my email of me having conversations with secret shoppers, and I would just say utter nonsense, but I hit the 5 things.
All right.
Sounds good. I got a large thin crust pepperoni and onion pizza and a stuffed spinach and feta cheesy bread. If you can answer one more question for me. Do you know the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow?
No, I don't.
All right. Well, you cannot cross the bridge, but I will bring you a pizza. Is that going to be cash or charge? So?
Actually, you're going to just cancel my order. I'm a mystery shopper for Domino's Pizza, and I have your name as Bob.
You got it.
Okay. You have a great night, Bob. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Somebody answering the phone at a church, not every time necessarily, but you got to get an ear for what a scam sounds like. And I'm sorry, but a lady cold calling a church saying, my baby ran out of formula last night, can you help? Sounds like a fucking scam.
Do you think that
it just does?
Do you think that that's what they were responding to? Because you would think you would just tell the person, yeah, just come on by and we'll help you out. And this person would not show up. They don't exist.
Bring your baby.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to shoo away a crying baby in person. Over the phone you can tell them to kick rocks, but if they actually had a baby with a need for this formula.
The thing that bothers me about it is not so much that this becomes a trending story on TikTok or whatever, but there were full-on write-up in the Washington Post and a full-on write-up in the New York Times in the belief or spirit, whatever their spirituality vertical is. And it's what are we doing here? I mean, it's one thing to say that the internet removes all context from everything, which of course it does, but it's completely arbitrary. It's completely content free in terms of the actual reality of the world. It has actually no bearing on reality. It is only a conversation for the purposes of virality.
Right. And that was,
it doesn't actually inform anything about the actual world.
Do you think that's a driving force? Just that it gains traction online?
If this person had dedicated 1/10 as much time to going out and finding hungry people and putting food in their fucking faces, she would have done infinitely more good in the world.
Right.
If she had fed literally one person, she would have done more good in the world.
Maybe that's their next
Did
project.
any of the churches give the people a hard time for not breastfeeding?
I don't know. I only watched like 3 of the videos because I found her grating and unpleasant.
All right, let's start the
She had
sports show.
she was upset. She finished a call with like one of the Catholic churches who's like very pleasant to her and said, "Yes, we will do what we can to help you," or whatever. She's like, "Oh, I hate it when it goes well because now I know the next time I'm just going to be so disappointed." Like, what's wrong with you?
Right.
You hate it when it goes, when they show that they are good Christian people who want to help? You'd much rather be
So
disappointed?
it sounds like you're putting this like closer to like a James O'Keefe operation.
It is precisely a James O'Keefe operation.
It's a James O'Keefe operation.
The guy who dressed up like a pimp and went into Acorn and the community organizers and said, "I need a 3rd mortgage for my sluts," or something. I don't remember what the details were.
Okay, let's talk about football, please.
Right this way, sir.
That's right.
The proceeding was created with 100% human content.